to the Businessmen and Women of Color podcast. I am your host, Anna Alston, and it is once again my pleasure to bring quality programs to all of you. We have another amazing entrepreneur on here who is also our corporate sponsor from Platinum Financial Services, and I cannot wait to talk to Ms. McGurn here today. I'm really excited to learn more about her organization and really appreciative of all our corporate sponsors, which we will get to in just a second. I also want to make sure that you like, share, and vote for each of the podcast participants that's on the platform. We have 7 awards that we're giving out this year, so make sure that you vote to keep yours in a favorite. And while you're at it, please make sure that you check out all the pages and listen to all the podcasts, because there's a lot of information to share, not only for 2019, but also for 2016, 17, and 18. If you didn't know what the BMWOC was all about, we are unifying people from all over the country to talk about their industry and business careers so that you can make an informed decision and be inspired by their stories. So just make sure that you like, share, and vote, and tell people about the BMWOC as you are going through to vote for your favorite. Before we get started with our exciting interview today, we'd like to take a moment to thank our corporate sponsors, who are My Financial Home, Evangelism Radio, J&F Enterprises, Sears Consulting, Autism Families Rock, Awakening to Love, Eli Natoli, Kimberly McLemore, True Synergy, and Platinum Financial Services, along with our other BMWOC participants who are helping to make this season a huge, huge success. So today we have another corporate sponsor here that is going to be blowing our minds with her information about tax and things of that nature and all of the stuff that she has done throughout her career. And we're going to welcome Keisha McGurn, who is the owner and chief financial officer for Platinum Financial Services, which is located in Stone Mountain, Georgia. In this role, she leads the firm's efforts in accounting, bookkeeping, reporting, tax strategy, and training. Keisha has more than 20 years of accounting and tax experience, and throughout her entire career, she served in positions of increasing responsibilities for financial accounting, reporting, accounting research, regulatory reporting, and corporate accounting. She's also a native of Pennsylvania, and she has a bachelor's degree and in a major of accounting, of course, from Widener University, and she has an MBA in management from Strayer University, in addition to being a certified public accountant and certified paralegal on top of all of that. So we're going to let you read the rest of her bio, and we're going to welcome Keisha to the podcast. Welcome.
Hi, Ann.
Hey, hey. Whoop, whoop. We're on here now.
You got me all excited with that intro.
I know. See, I had to turn on my radio voice and then turn off my radio voice when I'm ready to talk. But it's all good because I get excited every time I introduce people, because with all of the accolades that you guys all have is just amazing. So, so thank you for being a corporate sponsor and being here on the podcast, and just go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everybody know, your background, your interests as you were growing up, so that people can get a sense of who Keisha McGurn is.
Okay, sure. And Ann, let me just thank you again for allowing me to be a part of your platform. And I also want to thank you again for all that you do. I think that what you do is truly
Thank
important. It
you.
really is. Having this platform for small businesses and what you do for folks who are looking for work or transitioning in between jobs. So thank you for what
Mhm.
you do
You're
and
so
having me.
welcome. So, so welcome. All right.
So about me, well, I grew up in Pennsylvania. City called Chester, as well as West Philly. I always liked numbers. Didn't think I was going to be an accountant, believe it or not, but I always liked business math in school. When I graduated high school, I thought I was going to be a model. That I always liked fashion. I always liked
Hmm.
makeup and things like that. And I was very, very skinny. I was like a stick, and people thought I was a model. So I said, well, maybe I should try to be a model. And so during my last year of high school, I was in some program that kind of prepped you for modeling. It was like a 9-month program, and they kind of went through the whole thing of getting you prepared, how to dress, how to wear makeup, how to walk, getting your portfolio together, getting you ready for go-sees. And I was towards the end of the program, about to graduate high school, or towards the end of this modeling program, And we were to the point where we were learning how to catwalk and building the portfolios. And after every session, they weighed us. And when I was in high school, all throughout, I
Oh,
weighed
wow.
probably 99 pounds.
Wow.
And yes, and when I went to this one session that we had, and they weighed me, I had gained 5 pounds, and I was happy because I had a little blip, had a little bump,
You
bump
say
on
you
my
look
hip.
blip. Wait a minute. That's a new one. You say you look blip. Okay.
Yeah,
All
I had
right.
a little bump, a little curve.
Mhm.
Nobody could see it but me, right? But anyway, they told me to lose 10 pounds,
Oh, no.
and I was like, yeah, this may not be for me.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was over, and so I had to figure out what I wanted to do. Long story short, I ended up going to school for accounting, pursued an accounting degree, um, and working in corporate America. I was a young black woman. You always had different hurdles you had to reach. So having an accounting degree wasn't enough. If I wanted to get ahead, I knew that I had to get my certification to become a CPA. And so I knocked that out the way, and got my master's. And I spent most of my accounting career working for large corporations, mainly in the utility industry. So that's kind of where I honed my skills and got all of my accounting experience. And about 12 years ago, I was moonlighting on the side, preparing taxes, and eventually got sick of corporate America, um, and decided to start my own thing. And uh,
Okay.
there's Platinum Financial Services.
Wow. Okay. So how did you come up with the company name Platinum? Was it
And
because of the money situation or maybe you tying it to money?
I was trying. Well, I wanted folks to think of the business as, in terms of the quality of service and the level of commitment to our clients as very high, high standards. And so that's where the word platinum came from. And I thought it would have a certain appeal to a certain age group as well, particularly mine. And that's why I went with
Okay.
that name. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask a question for those that listen might be curious. When you mentioned that was working as an accountant and then you decide to do your side hustle. I know a lot of people like to do that. Can you kind of give like a synopsis of your experience of trying to work 9 to 5 as an accountant with all the stuff that goes on with that and then trying to do a side hustle doing taxes? How
Yeah.
challenging was that for you?
It was very hard, particularly, yeah, obviously during tax season, and in the accounting world, the first 3 months, 4 months of the year is crazy as well because you're closing out the previous year. And so I really basically did not have a life from January up until May, every year. The first part of the year would go by so quick because I was so busy, but I'm a very determined and driven person, so I just found a way to balance it. Being a mom and everything, and I was managing the accounting department for a major company here in Georgia, major utility company here in Georgia. So it was a lot of work, but I wanted to stay involved on the tax piece because I was getting the accounting experience at work. I wanted to stay involved in the tax piece, so I made it a priority of mine to continue to do taxes on the side. And I wouldn't grow it because I didn't have the capacity to grow it, right? But I knew at some point, someday, that I was going to do my own thing, and so I wanted to keep my toe in the water and have that tax arm under my belt so that when I was ready to launch, all this stuff wouldn't be new to me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some really good planning right there. I think it just takes commitment and definitely some time management just to try to manage all of that going on every year and the taxes. I can't even imagine because I'm not a math person, Keisha. Okay, I'm telling you right now, I'm not a math person. Okay, if I even look at two numbers trying to add together, I have PSTD from high school. Okay, so I just think that a lot of people, including like myself, who need to feel more comfortable working with numbers, and especially when you're a small business and you're trying to manage your stuff. So, for the organizations that you may have helped, what are some of the things that you see that small businesses could improve upon that will make your job easier?
The biggest thing that I see day to day this is what I get. This is a typical request that I get. I'll get a new client. that's looking for accounting services or tax services, and they'll come through the door, and we'll have a consultation. I'll talk to them, learn about them and their business, and they'll say, "Yeah, I need help with tax strategy. That's what I want you for. That's what we're here for." And so, okay, and that's a broad, that's very wide open, right? Tax strategy. And so I'll say, okay, tell me a little bit more about your business. Let me see your financial statements, because that'll give me kind of a picture of financial picture. I'm a numbers person, so the numbers talk to me. That gives me a better idea of what the company looks like, and so I can kind of talk and relate to them in terms of tax strategy. Um, there's no financial statements, right? So that's a huge
Mm-hmm.
issue. If you come to me, you're saying I need help with tax strategy. Tax strategy isn't your main issue right now. It's probably really wrapping your arms around the financial house of your business. And that's the main issue I see with small business owners a lot. And I understand it. Like you just said, you're not really into the numbers, right? A lot
Right,
of small
right.
business owners want to run their business, and that's what they're good at, and that is great. But you also have to keep focus on the numbers, because the numbers is going to tell you are going to tell you where you are in your business, how you're doing, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. And so it's really hard to implement any kind of strategy, business strategy, tax strategy, if your financial house is not in order. And so I would say sound bookkeeping practices is probably number one at the top of the list, because you can't. Another thing I
Mm-hmm.
always get to is I have folks wanting to implement a tax strategy while I'm preparing their taxes. It's kind of too late at that point. It's kind of too late, because the numbers are what they are. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, tax strategy has to be like a long range and a long term um, ideal or concept. You have to plan it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things I try to do with my business. I really want to take um, a, a big business model in terms of accounting and taxes and strategy, and implement that with small businesses. So all the things I learned being in the corporate world in terms of processes, procedures, techniques, um, I'm applying those at the small business level to help these small businesses that I serve thrive. And so, yeah, I
Okay.
would say bookkeeping, bookkeeping.
Bookkeeping. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So that means I need to start bookkeeping. I do bookkeeping. I think for me, and I can only speak for me, is that, I'm not a big numbers person, but I do know the importance of having a financial statement and having the 3 years, because when you become minority business enterprise certified, you have to produce all that stuff, including your personal net worth and all these other,
right.
things that they want you to do. And that's really good practice. But here's the kicker too, talk a little bit about how important it is to have an accountant, and how can you, or maybe one piece of advice you can offer that will help them afford to have an accountant on a regular basis.
Yes. Um. Wow. So the numbers very important. Again, like you just alluded to, some folks want to come in. Let me tell you, I work with some companies that make really really good money. Sales are phenomenal, but because their financial house is in order now, you have this small business owner, this business owner, they want to buy a car, buy a house, they want to expand their business, and like you just said, the first thing they want to see is your financial statements. They want to see your tax returns. So if all those things are in order, it's a problem for you as a small business owner or as a business owner. Period. So I tell folks, and I have clients who kind of keep up with their bookkeeping in a spreadsheet, which will get you so far. But use some sort of accounting software. If you can't afford to pay an accountant or bookkeeper, I guess a spreadsheet will work, but it only takes you so far. You definitely want to have some sort of accounting or tax software. A lot of folks use QuickBooks. There's Sage. There's a lot of software out there that will allow you to kind of automate the process of managing your income and your expenses for the business. A lot of business owners are familiar with the profit and loss statement, the P&L, but also the balance sheet is a major factor in your business. It's going to tell you or tell an investor or tell a lender where you are in terms of your assets. What do you own? What does the business own? Where you are in terms of debt. They want to know who you owe. and also who's invested in your business, the equity piece. So you can do a P&L on a spreadsheet and keep up with it, but the balance sheet is a little bit more complicated when you're trying to do it via spreadsheet. So use
Hmm.
some sort of tax software and find a way to get some sort of accounting or bookkeeping services in your budget if you don't already have it. You have to find a way to get it there because at some point, somewhere down the line, you're going to have to end up paying for it anyways. And it may cost you more um, in the long run than it does in the short run. Again, I get clients who have years of data that's kind of screwed up, and they want me to go in and clean it up, and it ended up costing them a lot of money. Whereas if they kind of had me on the front end or had someone on the front end, they come out a little cheaper.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wish that everybody hear that 2 or 3 times because I think time again is our enemy sometimes with small business, and I'm speaking from just being a small business, so I know how difficult it is for me to keep stuff. But I do think it's important to have some sort of like software that you can help track like your incoming and outgoing expenses and things of that nature, and then try to get it in a format that makes it easier for you to do your job and things of that nature. And what other services do your company offer in addition to tax information? Do you do any workshops or do any kind of events that talks about, financial literacy when it comes to tax and business strategies?
hmm So we have, I like to tell folks, we have like three arms to the business here, which one is the accounting slash bookkeeping, that piece where we're kind of managing the books for various companies. The other is the tax component where we prepare tax returns for individuals as well as businesses. And then the other is the consulting arm where, we have a client that doesn't want to bring us on under retainer, which is how we treat our accounting clients. We put them on a monthly retainer, but they may have a project or something where they need us to go in and clean up and then be done, or fix something and be done, or prepare this, or audit that, or review this and be done. So that's kind of the consulting arm. In terms of training and speaking engagements, I do a lot of stuff just ad hoc, right? Because I'm still trying to build my business. So I don't have a regular format where I do training, but I do go to speaking engagements. Averaging about once a month right now. I might go speak with the chamber, or go speak with a group association. I have clients that come in and say, "Hey, do you mind coming and speaking to this group about whatever, whatever, whatever?" So it kind of ends up working out like that. I am looking to get into some sort of financial literacy workshop type setup deal. Just haven't gotten there yet. I really want to start a foundation, a nonprofit organization rather, as an extension of the business, so that I can do the financial literacy piece out of that. But I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. But I do speaking engagements.
Okay, awesome. So
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, outside of the tax and everything, what do you do for fun, that is outside of that you just can't wait to do once you're off the clock?
Oh man, I like to travel. I like to
Oh,
travel. So I'm trying to plan my next trip. I want to go. Ghana is on my list. I don't know if I want to make it this year, but I want to go there. There's a trip that's leaving out in December. But I definitely like to travel, and I like to eat.
who
Fine
doesn't
dining,
like to eat? I love to eat too. What's your favorite food?
seafood, seafood.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty boring. I like to travel. I like to eat, especially while I'm traveling, and then I
Mhm.
like to read.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so I have one more question for you. So, personally and professionally, um, what do you need to thrive in your business or your personal life? What do you need?
For me, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm really on this kick right now, and I'm going to share it with you. And because I'm telling everybody everywhere that I go, every speaking engagement that I do, every event that I do, and it's really around us as a people, and I'm talking about Black people. And I know you have other listeners besides Black people, but really it's around us as a Black people coming together and supporting each other. That's what I need, and that's what I try to do every day in my life. Um, it's a lot going on in the world, and I just think as a community of people, we don't support each other enough. We don't support our Black businesses enough. And I'm not so narrow-minded to say that I'm only interested in doing business with Blacks. That's no way to survive or thrive, right? But what I am saying is that we have to be more intentional amongst ourselves about supporting each other. We have to have a consistent and cohesive alignment amongst ourselves, and make it a part of our everyday regular process. If you get your hair, well, I get my hair done black, period. But like, I guess another example,
Okay.
is you're getting your car fixed, or if
Mhm.
it's something that you do on a regular basis, you might go out to lunch 2 or 3 times a week. Try to make one of those times a week intentionally at a Black-owned restaurant. Or if you're buying hair products, and we do a
Mhm.
lot of that, make sure you find someone, or you can find someone who has a
Mhm.
Black-owned business that you're supporting.
Mhm.
Um, because people always ask, what can we do to make things better for ourselves? Support each other
Mhm.
economically, and
Right.
that's a
Right.
very easy thing to do.
Mhm.
So we
Not
have to
just
be
Black, but
intentional.
minorities too. I mean, there's a lot of great minority businesses out there that's doing some fantastic things. But again, it's that mindset too. And so I think my devil's advocate is to, try to challenge people to change their mindset of, patroning a business, particularly a small business. And
That's
and
right.
while I agree with you 100%. But I think for me, I kind of go a whole lot more global because there are so many of us out there that are small business. And I'm not saying people got to go out there and just like buy like the whole entire world, but do support, share the
Support.
events, come out to events and learn something.
Right.
There's so many ways you can show your support for a minority business besides the spending of money. You can spend your time or you
That's
can
right.
share word of mouth. I mean, those things are just so utterly important. See, Keisha, you just started a whole new podcast interview right about now, because you can't be doing that. But I just think it's important, and not just locally, but also globally. That we have to do it because if you look at the statistics out there for small business owners, and I think the last statistics was what 4 point something million businesses are started. Like that's pretty much how many businesses are out there, and about 500,000 is started like every year, and
Wow.
20% of them fail because they don't have the support or they don't have the full knowledge of one, what it really takes to start a business. Number two, finding the right target audience to market to, and then not really having a foundation, which is the most important part, meaning knowing what kind of concept you're doing. Is it actionable? See, you're going to have me start a whole class in here, Keisha. That I can't do that on this
No, no.
podcast,
See,
but it is
listen,
just so
listen.
important. Oh my
People need
goodness.
to hear it. People need to
Yes,
hear it.
yes. You know what? We might have to come back and do like one specifically on that for this podcast, because I usually have at least one that I would do, and I think that might be a subject that I would touch on the importance of building that foundation for business, because I'm tired of seeing our businesses fail time and time again because we can't make a sale or we can't move forward in our business and grow. It is a tragedy sometimes, and especially like when the young people are seeing this and they're out there trying to start businesses, they're also starting on the wrong foot as well. So that's another thing that's a pet peeve for me.
Right. I like that
Mhm,
you added the global element, because that's very important. I mean,
mhm.
we can buy across, and we're so technology has made it so easy for us to be global partners with anybody. So yeah, we got to
Yeah,
think
because
global,
look at
but we got to start
that's
local.
right. Because we have mobile apps, we have by the touch of a button. And one podcaster said that everything is revolved around your thumb. Just pushing a button on your phone
Right.
and boom, you have it. Only because you can and because you have the money. And it's no longer a need, it's a want. I want to have this because I can, and I don't want to have this because I can. Not so much years ago, 20 years ago, when it was a need. And I definitely agree with what he was saying there because they have all the power. Buyers have all the power. And I think a lot of us need to remember that too.
That's right.
Yeah, got me started in here, Keisha. I know.
But yeah, I
Yes,
know
yes.
I took a right turn, but I'll bring it back. Let me bring
Okay.
it back.
Yes, of course, people are like, okay, Ann and Keisha is having fun on here. Yes, I love to have fun talking about this stuff. I mean, this is serious business. I'm doing this because I see, I think a broader, I call it the cloud. It's the one that like hovers over you with all the information, but you try to ignore that it's there. It's like when you're outside and you see a cloud and you know that it's going to rain, but you try to ignore that it's there and you don't take an umbrella. Okay.
Right, right.
And
It's
then when it
moving.
rains, you act all shocked, like, "Why is
Right,
it raining?" You know? So
right,
it's almost like that same concept, and I'm hoping that, people who are listening to this podcast will really take it seriously to, listen to what you're saying, listen to what many people are saying, because, it is 99.99999 true, okay? And the 1% that may not be true is really perception.
right.
It's really all perception. But give everybody your contact information because I think, yeah, we did go to the left and now I'm trying to come back to the right. So
Ah,
give
well,
everybody your contact information so they can find you and share your maybe a last tip if anyone, well, if anyone wanted to get into accounting and do what you do, one piece of advice you would give them, and then give them your contact information.
sure.
Mhm.
One piece of advice that I would give to folks who are considering accounting or who are in the accounting industry is, you know, it just depends. Because there's a corporate answer and there's the everyday answer. And I'm serious
Mhm.
about that. I
Yeah.
still have a lot of colleagues in the corporate world who call me for advice and mentorship.
Mm.
But
Oh, okay.
in the corporate world, I know what type of listeners you have, right?
Well, put it this
Do
way,
I
just
keep it
I mean,
100? Do I just try
well,
to clean it
I
up a little
say
bit?
no, you gotta keep it 100. I would just say, with all humility, what one piece of advice because, you have a lot of people that is going to college right now, going into accounting, whether they go to corporate or they work a regular private job or a government job, it is always that unknown once they come out of college, whether they're going to make it or not. So maybe kind of look at it from a perspective of success, of going out
Here
there
you go.
pursuing your CPA or being part of the National Association of Black Accountants, who I used to work for years ago, by the way.
Here
But
you
just,
go.
give them some
I
encouragement,
got
and
it.
so maybe that'll kind of help out a little bit.
I get it. I got it. Okay, I got it.
Mhm.
Here's my
Yeah.
advice that I would give because, and this is
Okay.
a mistake I see a lot of folks make, young people. But if when if you're pursuing an accounting degree and you complete that and you get your bachelor's or whatever, and that go ahead and if you think you're going to become a CPA or you're considering it, do it right away. Don't wait. The CPA exam is hard enough as it is. So when you're juggling a job and a career and then a family, if you wait too long, it becomes that much harder to get that certification. And that certification can be the difference between you and the next person getting the job. So especially in the corporate arena. So that would be my one nugget of advice for accountants or those pursuing an accounting career. If you're considering
Mhm.
becoming a CPA, do it right away. Right after you graduate, just do it. Just get it done. You're still in the process or in the discipline of studying, and so you still have that. And hopefully your life isn't as crazy and busy. Get it done earlier or sooner rather than later.
I
How was
think
that?
I think that's the best advice because a lot of times we wait until after college and then decide we get a certification. And I always tell my clients that you have 4 years to get everything you need to get. So by the time you come out of college, you are fully qualified and you have everything. You're not wasting any additional time. So I think that that is an excellent piece of advice. So give everybody your contact information so they can find you.
So my contact information, my website is www.pfs Platinum Financial Services pfscpa.co. No M, just co. And that's the website. That'll give you my location and all kinds of other things. But my direct number for the business is 470-709-2790. So there you have it.
Awesome. And so, everybody, I hope you guys had fun with me and Keisha on here today. And yeah, we did, do like, what's his name, Sagapus, and made a stage left or something like that. But but we're back on track, and I want you guys to be back on track as well. Make sure you click on her page, click on her links down below, contact her if you are in need of actual tax strategies and learning how to be prepared as a small business when it comes to your finances. And if you have any questions, you can definitely check with her or maybe come out to one of her events if you go to her page and check it out. And also, don't forget to like, share, and vote for this podcast and many others that you're going to have on this season. And so, with that, I want to thank you, Keisha, for being a corporate sponsor, for supporting the movement to support small businesses and authors. And just so happy and really love interviewing you today. I definitely had fun.
Thank you, Anne. I appreciate you.